Here we are in set of Lords of Dogtown, Heath Ledger.
Heath Fletcher.
Keith Fletcher, sorry.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay. Fletcher?
Keith Fletcher.
Okay, sorry. Here we are in the Lords of Dogtown set with Keith Fletcher. He's playing skipper, and got the POP scene here. Some hot surfing and a lot of water shots.
Hot chicks.
Hot chicks.
In hot tubs.
In hot tubs. Having a hot time. All right. Check it out. Here we are at the Lords of the Dogtown set.
This is We Are Venice, the doc series about Venice Beach, about Venice. And I really appreciate all the subscribers. Thank you so much. And the only way you guys can help us now is subscribing the channel, sharing the channel, like button, leave a comment, you know. If you guys do that, you guys gonna bring the show to the next level. It's gonna help us to keep making more videos for you guys. If you guys like it, that's all you guys need to do. Share the channel, comment, like, and subscribe. And today, I'm gonna show you guys Alan Sarlo. We had an amazing conversation. Alan is my friend, and we got to know a little bit more of his story.
Tell me, how was that movie, like Lords of Dogtown?
Wow, Stacy and I were like really best friends in high school, and I was working and going to college and working. As a result, I had a small part, but it turned out to be. Dad was a lifeguard at Santa Monica, and my dad was also a Culver City cop. So he helped get the surfing area in Santa Monica, and it just happened to be at Bicknell. There used to be a surfing area designated in the summer for surfing only. And my dad and Skipper and my older brother, all the older guys. So that was cool.
How was be part of this effort team for you? You think like it drove you to become the surfer that you became? Like,
yeah, that's a good question. Jeff Ho, he was a visionary. He could see like where we were going. I was just a kid. I was just like a competitive surfer. I was on the skateboard team, but I was more on the surf team. I won all the amateur contests during that time period. And Skip Emblem coached me. And he spent a lot of time with me, coaching me. And I drove Skip up and down the coast in my van. We went to Mexico, we went to Rincon. And so Skipper and Jeff, they coached me as a young amateur surfer. They gave me a lot of insight. You know, they made my surfboards, taught me about style and holding my hands, and it was pretty cool. Venice has a lot of great surfing history. And before me, it was like Jackie Baxter was originally from Venice, is a great surfer. Ralph Arness, world champion from Santa Monica. Lance Carson. And wow, I even surfed POP Pier with Mickey Dora. And Jeff and Skipper and Mickey and Jay Riddle. Jay Riddle was such a great surfer. He was more north of Wilshire, but he'd come down and surf POP. One time, we were surfing, we didn't like, north of Wilshire guys, Santa Monica guys, we're like little local rugrats, you know? We're just local rats. And one time we found this beautiful natural progression gun in POP Pier, broken in half. And we saw it was, it had Jay Riddle's name on it, shaped by Robbie Dick for Jay Riddle. And it was broken in half. And we're like, we're on the beach. Yeah! we're like, yeah, they came, they broke their boards, they had a split. But we're all friends today. And every winter, I went to Hawaii.
Hawaii, like the North Shore of Oahu. Because I know, but I want people to know, you're not just a guy from Venice. You actually spent half of your life in Hawaii.
Oh yeah. Well, since '74, I was 17 years old. I surfed in Smirnoff, and every winter I went to Hawaii, Christmas vacation, and Easter vacation, and any time in between. I spent a lot of time in Hawaii.
I've known Alan since I was, 13, 14, when I first went to California. You know, seen him surfing Malibu, ripping. You know, I first met him, he's a big guy, looked like a football player, but you know, very agile and surfing really good. Definitely a great surfer, and I've seen him every single year, and it's good to see him back in Hawaii, ripping. You know, some guys just never go away, and Alan definitely one of those guys that'll be ripping for a long time.
Buttons and Sarlo, remember the 70s?
Yes, bro, of course, man. How can you forget the 70s? 70s were the best years of our life. Surfing, skating. I remember watching Alan. I think I was 13 years old. I seen you and Jay. You guys were at a skate contest in Long Beach. And dude, you guys are doing surfing moves. And these other kids are doing these really ridiculous things. I don't know what it was, but that was like that was a highlight of one of my golden young years, watching you guys just tear up the freaking pavement, bro.
Awesome.
Sick jumping barrels, bro. And to this day, I'm never gonna forget, bro, because I was just a little grom then. We're groms.
Yeah, we're all groms.
You know, that's skating and surfing were one. You know,
Yeah.
It was either skate or surf or skate.
Yeah.
You know?
Surf in the morning, skate in the afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. You guys took skating from us surfing to a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I love you, brother. I love you, brother. To the end, bro.
To the end,
bro.
Talking about your relationship with Mark Foo, how you got to know Hawaii, all these things, how you met Mark Foo.
Oh, that's a great story. Well, first I went back east to Texas to surf in the U.S. Surfing Championships when I was about 16 years old. And we went back there, and there was Mark. We were in the same division, and he was just so surf stoked, so full of energy, and we kind of like hung out together and surfed. And then the next winter, it was like I went to visit my friend Bobby Owens on the North Shore during the winter, during Christmas vacation, and there was Mark, and I was like, holy shit. I thought he lived in Florida, and he just moved to Hawaii. He just like, I'm out, I'm moving to Hawaii. So I was hanging out with Bobby Owens, and the waves were really good. It was like perfect conditions. And I was like, okay, Bobby, where are we surfing today? And he's going, oh man, you can't come with me today, because we're surfing Backdoor Pipeline, and I got Bob Barber. And I'm like, oh, my heart. He goes, I got Bob Barber shooting, and you can't come. And he goes, but you could go with Mark Foo. And Mark Foo was right there, just walking down the stairs. But you could go with Mark Foo. And I was going like, all right. And Mark goes, don't worry, Alan. We're gonna go surf Rocky Point. I have Aaron Chang, Dan Merkel, and Hornbaker. They're gonna shoot us. And I was like, what?
That's amazing.
He had 3 photographers, and not that I was we were just kids, you know what I mean? And I didn't know anything about surf photographers, but those guys did, you know what I mean? So it was, and then all of a sudden Mark and I became like, where are we surfing tomorrow? And it was this relationship that just built over time. Mark knew I was in real estate, and he goes, we have to buy some real estate on the North Shore. And I was like, oh, okay, we could buy something. And I said, find a really good deal, and I'll put it together. So he found this guy who just built this house. It was right at Waimea Bay. Mark fell in love with it because he could see Waimea Bay from his roof. And I came up with a down payment and qualified for the loan because I was young and I was, selling real estate. And I said to Mark, I go, all you have to do is make the payment, the mortgage payment. I go, I don't want to hear about a mortgage payment. And when I come to Hawaii every winter, I want a place to stay. He said, no problem. So Foo outsmarted me. He had the downstairs rented out to 3 Brazilian surfer boogie board chicks that were beautiful, and he had the upstairs, he had 2 more Brazilian boogie board chicks upstairs, and I'd go over there and he had these tuna sandwiches with alfalfa sprouts just packed, and wheat bread. And he goes, yeah, they pay the rent and they make me tuna sandwiches every day. I was like, I go, dude, you outsmarted me. And then we became real estate partners. So I had this very unique friendship with Mark Foo, and I had this, and at the same time, Darrick Doerner moved to the North Shore. And Darrick Doerner was a lifeguard at Sunset Beach and Pipeline, and Darrick Doerner and I were friends. And Darrick Doerner and I were friends at Mark Twain Junior High School. So I had Darrick at Pipeline and at Sunset as a lifeguard, and I had Mark Foo, this super determined big wave rider. So I had to just keep, I was like with my 2 best friends, and I was just like keeping up with them. And so they taught me, I surfed Sunset and backdoor Pipeline and had a great time. So one day, I was just got to Hawaii, and the surf was coming up, and Mark and I had surfed Waimea all day. He was so into Waimea, and I just like, okay, I'm following you around. And Mark goes, we're going to Mavericks tomorrow. I go, what? He goes, yeah, we're gonna take the red eye and we're gonna fly to Mavericks. And I go, I just got here, plus Sunset's gonna be absolutely perfect tomorrow. We don't have to go to Mavericks. He goes, no, we're going to Mavericks tomorrow. The photographers are lined up. We're gonna do a surfing story on Mavericks. And I go, you know what? I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna say, I just got here. I'm gonna surf Sunset tomorrow. So I'm staying at our house, Foo's and ours house on the North Shore, and I see him packing his boards, and I'm like falling asleep on the couch, like this. And he's leaving to get the red eye to fly to San Francisco. And I just like, see you, Mark. And he goes, yeah, I'll be back a couple of days. And I waved goodbye to him. And God, who knew that would be the last time I saw him alive? passed. It was shocking.
Pretty gnarly, huh?
Oh my God.
For everyone.
Yeah.
You know, it was hard for everyone because it's such a legend, you know.
Oh my
And I imagine it for you as a best friend, you know, like it was even harder. Like,
Yeah, we surfed Todos Santos together. We surfed Waimea together. He took me on the outer reefs. Him and Darrick Doerner took me out on the outer reefs. It was me, Foo, and Doerner. And then the next day, you know, it was just so tragic that he died. And when somebody that close to you dies that quick, it's like you're in denial, you know, you're like, he can't be gone, you know? And then slowly reality hits. But it was really like tragic and but
yeah, the worst part of this story that I see, like when I look at Cam Bradshaw was paddling that wave and they end up like pulling the nose on that wave, and then Mark went in that wave.
yeah, Mark went underneath him. Well, that's what, strange you said that, I was just thinking that too, is that Foo was going, come on, let's go. Ken Bradshaw's coming with us. You know, he's gonna show us the ropes out of Mavericks. And I was like, wow, I'm still not going because that's gonna be good. But he was like, yeah, man, me and Bradshaw. So Mark always sat under, Kenny always had a little bigger board. He could paddle into the wave over the back. And Dan's such a strong paddler, but Mark always stood just underneath, you know, the hook and take these late takeoffs. So I think as a result, it was the same scenario that Mark was maybe a little bit under the hook and Kenny was paddling over the top. Kenny backed off, Mark dropped in kind of late. And I don't know what, you know, cavitated and caught his nose and boom. But we picked him up at the airport, his body, and, you know, but so sad, and so died way too young. And he was so inspirational, and they had the H3O TV show. He wanted to have a triple big wave contest, one at Mavericks, one at Todos Santos, and one at Waimea. So he like thought outside the box.
He was a visionary, like for
Yeah.
sure. And what can I say? Just like I was in Brazil when that happened, you know, and I just want to say, like, you know, rest in peace, Mark Foo, because we're never gonna forget you. You know, like still have in my mind a lot of you know, clips of you like surfing like all these big waves, and I appreciate you, Alan, for sharing this story with us. You know, I love you, you know, and I know how much you love it, you know, Mark, you know, and yeah, rest in peace, Mark. Shout out to you, wherever you are. We see each other one day. One message that I want to leave for you guys, basically, is a lot of people lose like people, you know, I lost my mom, you know. A lot of people lose like people who they love in life. And one thing that comforts me is that I learned that when we lose somebody, like when somebody dies in our life, somebody that we love, it's because that mission here is over. And they're going back home next to God, you know? So that's where my mom is, you know? I know she's my guardian angel here, you know, all the times, but I know she went back home. Her mission was over here. And I know Mark Foo mission here was done, and he went back home and he's next to God. One day we're gonna see all of you guys. Yeah. That's the point.
Amen.
Amen.
Venice.
Venice, forever.
Yeah, I know I'm fully attracted. I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. Just a couple of burning matches. A good time is the best bad habit.
And it's been 40 years on the North Shore. And I just love it over there. And I'm like a local out at sunset.
You and I go good together.
yeah, now when I pow out and I'm pounding for a wave, like, oh, go uncle. And I'm like, I think they're talking to me, not my uncle. Yeah. Just enjoy life. I mean, and my dad used to say, do the most productive thing at every given moment. That was a lot. You think about that. Do the most productive thing at every given moment. It means go to school, work, and surf, or work to surf. Mark and I had a pact. It was called Work to Surf. He said, we're gonna work, and then we're gonna go on surf trips and bring photographers and get the shot. And it was perfect because I had a good work ethic and I love surfing. And Mark, strangely enough, had the same thing. So he came up with the saying, work to surf, which made so much sense to me because even today, everybody works to surf. And it's just so, I mean, not everybody's a pro surfer, Kelly Slater or somebody, so we all have to work to surf.
So that was the reason that you started to work super hard to build your family and give a better life for your family.
Yeah, I didn't want my kids living in the garage. I wanted a better life for them and how hard we work. I saw how hard my parents work. And so I just wanted a better life. So I just tried to do the right thing. I gave the gift of surfing to my kids. My son and my daughter. Nothing better than surfing with your kids. Nothing better than you're surfing out there and you see your kids just like, you don't even have to catch a wave. I just watch them surf. I'm like, I'm good. Well, I taught them how to surf right here. This is the best place to learn because it's gentle and it rolls and it's sand. And all day long, all summer long, right here. I used to tell my kids, 3 to the beach. Do 3 turns to the beach. Like, bam, 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 3 to the beach. we were in a contest a couple weeks ago at El Porto, and I was telling Colton, 3 to the beach. He goes, okay, Dad, 3 to the beach. So, 3 turns to the beach. That's a good score. Enjoy life. I mean, stay positive. The glass is half full. It's not half empty.